And welcome to the practice. I have prepared just a tiny little bit and comments in the in-person classes so far, and this is so comfortable. So I would love for you to experience something similar. I have placed down 2 blocks. The blocks are there to help us. If you don't have 2 blocks, that's fine. Take a cushion, will do the job. But now I've taken a blanket. This is what it looks like when it's unfolded. So it's about the size of my torso. If you have a blanket this size or even bigger, that's fine. Then folding it into a slim, long end. As you can see, it's still kind of covering my whole torso. I will now fold in just the upper part. So I've got a little elevation sitting there. I will now place that down onto the mat. So the cushioning part, the larger part, is here at the end of the mat, and here's the rest. Now, what we're doing with this, we're lying over it. So when you come to the floor, you've got your 2 cushions or blocks around, place them to either side, and then align your spine over the blanket with your head resting on the elevated part. So that's for extra comfort. Might have to shuffle a little bit around to get there. So I've got now a soft cushioning directly underneath my spine. And yes, the lower part of the body is not resting on the blanket. It is just basically mid to upper back. The head then on the cushioning, and the arms might fall out to the side. So once you've got your blanket origami going and you're lying down, you can have another choice, and that's where the blocks are for. You might bend your knees, let them roll out and come into Supta Baddha Konasana or the reclined bound angle pose. While some time ago I used this posture without the blocks, I now find, and there might be multiple reasons, I now find that the supported version actually helps me to open up better than the unsupported version. And you could play with this idea for a while and see which one is yours. Some are very comfortable not using the blocks. However, please notice if you don't, how you're engaging and oftentimes managing the shape. So rather than resting into it. What often happens when we choose to support is that after a while, the support doesn't seem needed anymore. So in that case, you could then perhaps bring it lower if that works. So see what posture is yours with or without the knee support. Ideally, you've got a nicely opening into the chest, and you might feel your shoulder blades behind you hugging the blanket in. Once you've set yourself up, you feel well supported and almost comfortable. You can choose to leave your eyes open and stare at a solid spot on the ceiling, or you might choose to close your eyes as you rest here. Once you are more landed into the shape, allowing your breath to slightly deepen. Feeling how your breath gently moves your body. We are working once more today with the sun energy. With that, our solar plexus. And with that also, there are components there of staying grounded, supported, while you're stepping into your own strength. So you might at this point just follow your breath flowing in and out. And you might edge a rise of the navel or the belly when you're breathing in, and a drawing inwards when you're breathing out. So we're breathing in, the belly expands and the navel rises. And we're breathing out, the navel not only falls, but we're drawing it slightly inwards. Staying perhaps with that breath, navel rising and actively releasing for a few more breaths. Fixing your whole attention on the movement of the navel. You might get a feeling like your breath is being pushed inwards, right there to your Manipura chakra, sitting slightly above the navel, below the ribcage. While you might continue letting your navel rise and contracting it inwards as you continue your breath, you might add the silent mantra Om to each in and out breath. Still feeling the navel rising and falling, but your attention might sit now in the silent repetition of the sound Om. Releasing the mantra or sound of Om. You're breathing in to let your navel rise and out to draw it in. While you are breathing, perhaps seeing this yellow light that you're working with. How each time you're drawing in your abdomen on the out breath, you're actually piercing into this energy center. Two more breaths. When completed, could you start by removing your support from underneath the knees, placing that to the side, and guiding your knees up, landing your feet down, and you might wiggle the feet out to mat distance and let them roll in for a constructive rest. You might notice that slight release into the hip flexors. And as you separate the knees, again, wiggle your feet perhaps to test it closer. You've got the option just rolling over to your side and removing the blanket. Or you might tuck the hands underneath the buttock, tuck the chin in, raise yourself up, remove the blanket, and then lying back down. Now, I like a gentle cushioning underneath the head, so I've changed the fold of the blanket and placed it there. If you choose the cushioning for your head too, please make it slim and low. Bringing both feet off the ground and knees over the chest. Before you place one hand onto each kneecap, letting your fingers look towards your toes. Breathing out as you draw your knees in towards the chest, your elbows snug by the side. On the in-breath, push the knees away by extending your arms. The knees end up over the hips. On the out breath, keep your elbows tucked in and draw the knees back into the chest. There's a little rocking over the pelvis as you inhale to extend your arms and exhale to pull the knees back to the chest. Would be very different feeling if your hands had a different position. Much easier when your fingers pointing towards the toes to keep the elbows along the sides of the body. You might be lightly reminded of Chaturanga Dandasana when you find your way towards the floor, strengthening into the similar muscles of your arms. If you choose to continue, please do. If you would like to, take a breath in, extending arms and legs towards the ceiling. And on the out breath, taking a hold of the kneecaps again and drawing knees to the chest. So you might stay just holding on to the knees or extending both arms and legs to the ceiling, and then a breath out to hug them back in. Finding the rhythm of your breath as you engage with Uttanasana and its variation. And if you still feel this is working well for you, you might choose to extend the arms over the head onto the ground while you breathe in. Then still get a hold again of the kneecaps and draw them towards your chest and the out breath. So 3 variations of this movement now. You choose the one that feels right for you and repeating that for 3 more breaths. When completed, you might change the hold, give your knees a warm embrace and actually squeeze them in towards the chest. Leave shoulders relaxed or relax them now. And with an out breath, could you raise your nose up towards the knee and curl into a little bundle. Lying gently back down onto the head, softening the shoulders and allowing both feet, perhaps one after the other, to land onto the mat. Aligning your feet at hip distance now, same with your knees. Let your toes point forward. If you were to have a look, but for me there's a gap between my heel and the buttock. Nothing I worry about, it is rather what my knees enjoy better. Arms along the sides of the body, palms of the hands now touching the mat. You might actually actively use the arms into the floor. Now with an in-breath, tilt your pelvis so the spine comes flat onto the ground, and at the same time raising your hips up slowly. On the out breath, rolling the spine back down onto the ground. Keep your arms firmly grounded into the mat. Tilt the pelvis while you inhale. Squeeze your buttocks up into the air, and on the out breath, rolling the spine back down. Continue that in your own pace. The pace given to you by the length of your breath. So that connection between the breath, the movement, and with that the breath and the body remains. If you choose to, you could now also lift your fingertips to point up to the ceiling as you breathe in. And on the out, as the spine rolls down, the arms releasing along the sides of the mat. So in by pelvic tilt, lifting hips, perhaps fingertips to ceiling. And when you're breathing out, the spine rolls down, the arms returning by the side. Again, repeat for 3. Always welcome to use the previous version. Also welcome to rest things out. Being aware of your body within this practice. When you completed the last one, you might allow these arms to drop all the way down behind the head onto the floor. With an out breath, then rolling the spine back down and releasing the arms along the sides of the body. We'll repeat the full lift for 3 breaths. While you're lifting the pelvis, the arms might reach over the head. When rolling the spine down, the arms returning along the sides of the body. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling to lower. In this next coming round, lift up and hold. As your arms and shoulders are fine, stretch up towards the fingertips. Start to lift your tailbone up towards the backs of the knees, but keep your feet firmly grounded. Inner thighs are working, keeping your knees at hip distance apart. Lifting the arms up on the breath in, and on the out breath, rolling the spine down and releasing the arms back along the sides of the body. Giving your right knee a hug in towards the chest. You might keep that right knee quite close. You may leave your left foot grounded, knee bent, or you could slide your left leg out long onto the mat. If you do, please flex the foot, keep your knee hugged in, your shoulders easy. And with an out breath noise to me, your option. Lying back down while you inhale. You might repeat that twice more if it feels right. If not, you might shift to rest it out. When you complete it, lie back down. Keep the opposite hand on the knee. Let the other arm roll out to the side. And on an exhale, guide this knee across the body. And when I need to say guiding, I mean that. Take it over there slowly, keeping the right shoulder on the ground, only going to the point where that feels right. You might keep a hold of this knee, and you might choose to turn your head to a side. Shoulders are grounded, back is in a twist. You could choose to land this right foot down, extend your right leg, take the arms from the other side, and perhaps extending both arms up over the head. You might even rest your lower ear onto the arm if that's extendable. Stretching up to fingers, pointing out your toes. Start to lift your heart forward or sternum and squeeze your bottom so your hips are moving forward. You might also take your extended arms and legs slightly behind and increase the arch in the body. Taking a deep, full breath to create length. And on an out breath, flop onto your back like jelly on a plate. Then center yourself again. Release arms along the sides of the body. Stepping your right foot down onto the ground and giving your left knee a hug towards the chest. Choice to leave right knee bent, foot on the ground, or to extend the leg out long onto the mat. Again, if you do, please flex the foot. Exhalation, you might lift your nose up towards the knee. In breath, relax back down. 2 more if it's right. Out breath to lift up. In breath to lower. Last one, lifting up. And lower. Now you might stay right here, or you could choose to place the opposite hand to the knee. Let the left arm roll out to the side, and on the next out breath, guiding your legs across the body. The same here, take it to the point where your opposite shoulder is still grounded. You might choose to turn the head. Then letting your top leg slide out long. Take the arms from the other side. Perhaps both arms are extending. Both legs come out long. You might rest this lower ear to the arm. You might move your extended limbs, arms and legs right behind you, starting to push your sternum out. Squeeze your buttocks to move the hips forward. Then take a deep breath into that front body extension. And on your elbows, flop again onto your back like jelly on a plate. As you came here, you might now choose to bring both knees back in towards the chest. Give them a last little squeeze in, and perhaps rocking from side to side. If this feels good, you may roll onto your side and come to a seat, or you might rock a few times forward and back and come to a seat like that. I will now grab one of my blocks and use that as a sitting support. You can choose to sit in easy pose or towards your heels, or if it is for your body, extending the legs out in front or loosely setting the feet to the ground. Now, I would like to continue with a little movement through the chest. The hands might stay here on the knees. And while you breathe in, squeeze your shoulder blades slightly, start to open your front again. And with the elbows slowly rounding, let the head tuck in, the chin towards your throat. For the inhale, lift up again, draw the shoulder blades together, open your front. With the elbows rounding into the spine. Only one more. And when you come out of this one, move, wiggle, helping yourselves to land in an upright seated position. I will come briefly towards the camera to show you a hand gesture that you might like to use. This will be absolutely optional. So for this position, we're using the thumb, and we'll place the thumb to that little bit in front of the ear to close it off. We will do that with both hands. I'm only demonstrating with one. So do it with both. The thumb closing the ear, index middle the eyes, the other two fingers the mouth. As I said, this is an optional mudra for Pramari Pranayama or the Hamedi breath. If you choose this, I will make sure that I speak loudly enough for you to notice when this practice is complete. You can also rest the hands down at any time. As we begin with an inhale, we then continuously hum out, no need to wait for others. Let's begin breathing in. Last round. Then remain with your eyes low or closed. Notice where these vibrations are resonating, where they are moving towards during the pranayama. Breath in to reach the arms up. The breath out to bring the hands down the midline. Releasing the hands, raising the legs up, preparing to come to a standing position. For now, you can stand any way you like, facing forward, perhaps so you can see the screen. You might allow your feet to be comfortable hip distance, or alternatively, big toes together and heels apart. We begin this practice in Samasthiti, so beginning to draw the inner heels towards each other, joining the hands together in front of the chest. As we breathe in, lifting the arms forward, perhaps up, maybe the heart is lifting. On the breath out, roll the arms forward like a drinking bird, bend your knees and slowly fold down towards the ground. Breathing out to curl back up through the spine. As you lift your arms again, breathe in and open your heart into standing back bend. With the out breath, join the hands back together at the heart. Now we'll bring some thoughts to it. We'll repeat the movement. So for the in-breath, lifting the arms out and up, feeling how energy rises from your solar plexus to your heart. With your out-breath, roll the arms forward, bend your knees and come down towards the earth. As you breathe out, uncurl the spine. When you open your arms again, think about the energy rising from the root up to the heart. As you breathe out, hands come back to touch in front of your chest. We'll go for another round. So breathing in as you're opening up your body, energy rises from solar plexus to heart. On the out breath, rounding forward, knees stopped, folding down to Uttanasana. Out breath to uncurl the spine to return to stand. While you open back into your standing back bend, feel energy rising from the root, your base, to the heart. And on the out breath, let the hands join back together. Last round, we breathe in to let energy rise from solar plexus to heart. On the out breath, diving gently forward in. Uncurl the spine when breathing out. And open up to let energy rise from your root towards the heart. On the exhale, join the hands back together at heart center. Release your arms to the side. Reactivate your inner heels. Close the eyes or lower your gaze. And be there for a few breaths. Taking in the energies you've cultivated. Perhaps the rise of the energies that we promoted with our thoughts. And blinking the eyes back open. Now I really hope you've got a piece of wool or a door nearby. It doesn't have to carry any weight. I would love you, however, to have a look first, and I will try to deliver the best demonstration that I can while I don't have a wall here. So you might see myself as putting my hands onto the window frames here. For you, it is the wall. So when you might be standing in a moment after you've observed me, it's facing the wall. I will demonstrate that for one round so that when you step to face the wall, you already have the visual in your mind. We'll practice a salutation. So for the in-breath, lifting the arms up. This is still without touching the wall. Bring the hands down the midline to get another forward in. And as you roll up, bring the hands against the wall, finding a long spine here as you breathe in, supported. Stepping now the right foot back, then the left. And as both arms are extended, imagine my two arms are up on the wall, the whole body aligns here. So we've got a straight line here from the top of the head towards the tailbone. This is our downward facing dog. From the down dog, we roll the spine up, coming into a plank position. So both hands firmly, shoulder distance apart on the wall. We're breathing out, elbows by the side, that's our chaturanga. Then lift up and off the heels if available. Extend your arms, open into a standing cobra. For your out breath, roll back to the spine, soften the knees, sink the hands down, back to downward dog. From down dog, we will raise the legs and take a step forward with one foot, bending into the front knee and rising up for warrior one. After your warrior one, arms by the side, and we're standing back to face the wall. So now I will guide you through it while I keep demonstrating. Please turn yourselves towards the door frame or the wall. Have a little gap between you and the wall that sits there, trusting my words. Take a breath in, reaching your arms up. Hands down the midline, out breath, folding forward. As you inhale, roll up the spine, bring your hands against the wall, lengthen your back. On the out breath now, stepping the right foot back, then the left. And leaning into that sphere-like shape that is the down dog against the wall. The arms are forward, shoulders are easy, spine is long. And your next inhale, roll up through the spine, both hands shoulder distance apart on the wall, we're in a wall plank. On the exhale, let your elbows come close to the side, chaturanga. Then push off your feet, heels rising, open your front, breathing in your cobra variation. Then roll back through the spine, let hands sink down the wall, coming into downward facing dog. So make sure that your knees are soft, your arms are at shoulder height, the gaze is down low towards the floor so the neck is long too. Now an in-breath to raise the right leg up. An out-breath to bring the knee towards the chest and land the foot forward. Then into the front knee and take a breath in to raise your arms up. You might even lift your gaze and your feet as usual draw inward. Breathing in. With your out-breath, release your arms. Step the foot back next to the other, returning to mountain pose. We'll repeat, inhaling, arms rising. Exhaling, standing forward bend. Inhaling as you roll up, hands against the wall, long spine like your half lift. Stepping the left foot back as you lower, and then the right for a downward facing dog against the wall. On your in-breath, roll the spine forward, hands shoulder distance, plank against the wall. Out-breath, chaturanga. In-breath, arms extend, heels might lift your back bend. Out-breath, roll to the spine, down the dog. Lifting your left leg up, a breath in. The out-breath, the knee to the chest. Landing the foot forward as you ground, front knee is bent. Start to lift your arms up, breathing in. Feet are drawing inward. Gaze could be lifted or directly forward to your wall. As we release the arms, landing the feet next to each other. Engage your inner heels lightly, turn the palms forward and pause for a breath or even two. We will go through the same sequence once more on each side. So perhaps you can flow a little bit easier now. Breathing in, arms lifting. Exhaling, forward bend. Inhaling, roll up to bring hands to wall, lengthen spine. Right foot steps back, left foot steps back. Hips resting over the ankles, spine is long. On your next breath in, roll forward, find your plank in the wall. Exhale, come closer to the wall, chaturanga. Inhale, lift your heels in half, back bending. Exhaling, roll through the spine, coming back into your down dog, up against the wall. Right leg lifts the breath in. The arm bends the knee to the chest, the foot landing forward. Bend into the front knee, raise your arms up, find your warrior one. Squeeze your feet and steady your gaze. Releasing your arms, stepping to the front, mountain pose. Inhaling, arms lifting for last round. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, as we come up, lengthening through the spine, hands against the wall. Stepping left foot back, then the right, your hands sliding down, downward facing dog. In breath, roll the spine up, find your plank on the wall. Exhale, come closer to the wall. Inhale, lift your heels and open your torso. Exhaling, roll the spine back, down dog against the wall. Left leg lifting, breath in. Out back, step the foot forward, bend the knee, and then rise back up, arms lifting. Feet squeezing lightly, very steady. Next exhale, return to the mountain and pause again. Hands forward, inner heels lightly drawing in, taking a couple of breaths. As you step away from the wall and return back onto your mat. This way of salute to the sun is reasonably suitable for a lot of people. And I thought to repeat it a couple of times today, because if your shoulders are achy and things aren't quite right in the body, sometimes practicing with the wall gives us the necessary strength to come back to the mat at some point. Opening your feet out wide as you face the long side end of your mat. Beginning by turning the right toes to the short side, the left heel to the other. Placing a bend into the right knee. Now I will grab a block and choose to grab one too. If you don't have a block nearby, you might actually use a smaller cushion or something else, doesn't matter. The right knee is bent, the block sitting flat on the left palm. So try not to hold onto it, just let it rest there flat. Extending both arms in the right direction while staying grounded through the left foot. Now this is unfortunate, my not so mobile arm, so let's see how we're going. On the breath in, serve the block out to the side and bring it behind. Lift it up from behind and then turn the fingers forward. Start to reach forward without dropping your block, and then circle it in towards the tummy and bring it back to the front as you lift your torso. You can have many drops off the block. You can have a lot of fun with the movement. As you breathe in, open that left arm back out. Hold your warrior stance as you lift the block up overhead. Turn the fingers forward, circle it out, reach it all the way out and bring it in towards the tummy and then extend it back forward. We'll do that one more time. Opening up, lifting up, turning forward, reaching out, and I'm cheating lots here because that arm doesn't rotate. Bring it into the belly and reach it forward. Let's take the breath to extend the front leg, turn the toes to the long side end, and breathe out to slowly fold. You can use the block here or not as you release into wide-legged standing forward bend. Now the outer edges of your feet are parallel with each other and the floor. If your hands are resting down somewhere, gently lift the shoulders to the socket. Lean the weight forward into the feet and take a few breaths here to bend forward. Then moving ever so slightly a bit from side to side so that you can turn your feet, take the block and come back towards a standing position. Turning now the left toes to the short edge and the right heel to the other, bending into the left knee. Now the block rests flat on the right palm, both arms extending towards the front, but we're maintaining this warrior stance. For the inhale, let this right arm circle out. You can follow it with the gaze. Then lift it up over the head, turn it so the fingers are looking forward, reach it forward, and circle it out and bring it in and take it back out to the front. We'll repeat. Inhaling, let your arm open with your block. Lift it up over the head, turn the fingers forward. Going towards the side bend as you roll the arm into the belly and extending it forward again. Last round. Take a breath in, open the arm. Reach it over the head, fingers pointing forward. Let it circle out and even bring it in. Then lifting the arm forward. Again, a breath in to reach it up, turn the toes towards the front. Your out breath to release that slowly to a standing forward bend. Take a little sway here. And then heel and toe your feet a little bit closer together. Taking a hold with your right hand from your inner thigh to the back of the thigh. You might take your left arm and bring that behind your back. Keep your gaze down now, raise your right heel and start to come up towards standing. Perhaps the right knee bends and comes up with it. If you happen to land in a standing position, erect your spine, point your toes. For those that would like to take it further, you may aim to extend the right leg. Then bending the knee again, landing the foot, releasing your arms, out back as you soften back down to the forward fold. The same here, we've got that hip distance stance maybe further. Your left arm now on the inside of your leg, holding underneath your left thigh. Your right arm might wrap behind the back gently. You're keeping your gaze down while you're rolling up. Left heel might lift or even the knee comes up. If you can manage to stand up, point the toes. And my words give away that you might just come in and out of this balance too. Perhaps extending the right leg if that works. And bending the knee again, landing the foot down, releasing your arms. Again, pause for a breath or two in the mountain. Just breathing and taking in all this warmth, this energy that you've created so far. Softening the knees, and on your out breath, returning to the soft forward fold, and then into a seated position. For our seated practice, I will use the blanket again, this time folded up and resting to sit on it. Right knee starts in a bend and the left leg comes out long. Just wiggling ourselves into a good position there. You might allow your left knee to stay bent, but flexing the left foot, pushing the floor away as you breathe in, and then finding your way forward while you breathe out. By the way, if this knee doesn't quite touch the floor, you might enjoy a support underneath the knee like a block. As you come forward to Jala Shirshasana or head to knee pose, you may actually lower the head towards the knee. Even if your chin tucks in for that reason and your spine begins to round, keep the toes of your left foot pointed towards the ceiling, or rather the flexion of the ankle joint. And allowing a few more breaths right here and there. And walking the hands back up towards the body, bringing the right hand behind or wrapping it behind the back. Keep a flexion of the foot on the other leg and the back of the hand to the outside of the knee or the thigh, so you can twist. Shoulders are down, both sitting bones are firmly grounded, and the flexion of the left foot and the extension we tap into the leg help us anchor. A breath in to bring the head forward and then out to change sides. So now extending right leg, bending left knee. The same applies here. You want a little support underneath the knee. There's a block of cushion there. Bend the right leg, turn the toes upwards, push the fingertips into the ground and lengthen as you inhale, and then starting your way towards your extended leg. You might find a place to rest the hands. And maybe if you would love to tuck the chin in, round the head towards the knee, going into a deep extension of your back line, maintaining the toes pointing upwards. If you can practice presence here, the flow of each breath. And lifting up just a little as you inhale, walking, sliding back to seat. Perhaps the right leg extends actively, foot stays flat. You can choose to bring left hand fingertips behind or let that arm wrap behind the back and the back of the other hand begins the outside of the knee to come into the twist. Same here. Your straight leg and the flexion of the ankle are holding you grounded. Same over your sitting bones. Spine in a twist. Eye gaze steady or eyes closed. Breath in to bring the head forward and out to unravel, extending both legs out to the front. And I will remove this block now, but I'm keeping the block within reach by the side of the mat. I'm coming off my little sitting support here as well and bring that back as a cushioning option under the head. Lengthening both legs out over the floor, and if you would like to put socks back onto your feet, it's a really good moment, same as your jumper, or gather your blanket around you. And for the out-breath step, rolling your spine down onto the floor. As you come to rest here on the mat, you can step your feet down onto the ground, being comfortable here, aligning your back onto the floor. And then a breath in to tilt the pelvis and lightly lift it. Grab your block, rest that underneath the sacrum in any height that you enjoy. So please make sure that the block is at the very bony end of the spine, so any moving vertebrae are actually hanging off the block towards the floor. This could be your final posture for today, other than Shavasana, of course. Or you might lift your knees up and extend the legs towards the ceiling. There's nothing much to do, but perhaps to move the feet for a moment. When you feel movement is no longer required and your movement could last throughout the whole of the shape, you could soften in as well. As you allow arms to be open, and perhaps returning again to the awareness that your belly is rising on the in-breath and drawing in on the out-breath. Then take an inhale to soften knees back over the chest. Take a hold of the block if that's comforting. Lower the feet down. One after the other, it's fine too. Land the feet hip distance. Squeeze your bottom up into the air. Lightly remove that block and roll back down onto the floor. Suggestion, wiggle your feet to mat distance. Let knees roll in. This is constructive rest, especially if your arms roll open, palms show up. And with that, a suitable relaxation pose. If you prefer and want bolster, rest your knees over that. Or you could also extend both legs out long, let the toes roll outwards. You might snuggle your shoulder blades just a little bit under, leaving palms open, eyes perhaps closed or steady. And find stillness after the movement. You can, as usual, focus solely on your posture, resting here in awareness that the breath is flowing. You could alternatively work with the breath and Manipura Shuddhi, a technique to really stimulate the solar energy. Your breath flowing slowly, gently, but yet a little bit deeper than your natural breath. Come back to the feeling and activation of the navel moving. While you breathe in, the navel rises. While you breathe out, lightly contract the abdomen and draw the navel in towards the spine. Each in-breath, the navel rises. Each out-breath, you draw it towards the spine. Feel as though you are breathing in and out of the navel. Manipura Chatram. You might center your whole attention at the navel. Feel perhaps that the breath is being drawn from the Manipura chakra that plays above the navel below the ribs, in the spine, through the navel, and outwards as the abdomen expands during inhalation. The breath being drawn to the Manipura and then moving back outwards as you inhale. Feeling perhaps as if the breath is being pushed inwards through the navel into the chakra itself in the spine as the abdomen contracts on the exhale. Be attentive, be present in this rhythmical movement. While you are absorbed in the energy of Manipura, the movement of the navel, and in towards the chakra, the energy center, you may now again add the silent mantra Om on in and out breath. Navel still moving, intentions the same, only adding the silent sound of Om. As you establish the Oms to in and out breath, you might allow your movement to be part of the Om, synchronized with the sound of Om you utter silently in the mind. Now return the breath. Now return to awareness of the navel moving. Letting go of the silent repetition of the sound of Om and focusing solely on the energy center and even the navel, Manipura chakra. Manipura chakra sitting more towards the spine within. And you're still breathing in to feel belly rising and out to draw navel inward. You might stay attentive to this energy center as well as the flow of your breath. The card today reminds us of the bigger picture. I believe you can use these energies of the solar plexus to get that bigger picture. That you might allow yourself to sit back or lie back here. And look at something that you're feeling stuck at. Something that you always approach from the same angle. And as our human mind is interfering, we're often having the same approach to an issue over and over again, just hoping for a better outcome. How about if you harness the energies from today and looked at this situation, opening yourself up to a new perspective. It is about that you are not seeing at the moment, that you focus on. We are all human. But when we step to see the bigger picture, we can see things with more compassion and love, guiding us through the practice with Manipura to have the necessary strength to actually see. You might now choose to let go of all of that you've been focusing on, or perhaps it builds your intention for today. If there's any intention that came up through this practice, or the word has gone, set it as your sankalpa, your intention for the rest of the day, by silently repeating it 3 times to yourself. When you completed the repetition of your intention, let everything rest. And begin to take deeper breaths. But you are starting to deeply breathe in and out. A sense of movement might come back, or a need to stretch. And when you are ready, turning to your side or sitting up over the front, joining me in a seated form. If it resonates with you, Anjali Mudra in front of the chest, touching thumbs lightly to the sternum. And you might still feel the navel rising and falling with each breath. Think about all these energies that we've drawn up from the solar plexus to the heart, from even the root to the heart. As we open our heart and extend with a bow toward each other. Namaste.